chasing the loot, chasing the loot, chasing the loot, yeah. Alright YouTube, so today we're hitting you guys with a tutorial. We're gonna be doing a medium ball fade with a foxtail along with a double lineup. So as you can see, we already did this cut. I just figured the second time we're gonna go ahead and make a video. So what I'm doing here, I'm just taking down the bulk on the top with a number 8. Yeah, that leaves about 1 inch on the top. Next thing I'm gonna do, go with my number 1 guard. I'm kind of just prepping the canvas, setting that 1 guard so that we can hit the sideburns. The first thing we're gonna do is hit up the sideburns, set that foundation for the cut. So I'm just going with the 1. This is not where the 1 is actually gonna be. This is just, like I said, setting the foundation. So I'm gonna quickly go with the 1.5, kind of lighten up the dark spots, soften up that line at the top. And here I go with the gold FX. We're gonna set in the sideburns. What I like to do is set my mark at the top of the sideburn at the bottom of the box. Then I go to the bottom of the sideburn, set my second mark, and then follow through from my second mark to my first mark. Now the curvature won't be perfect every time, but just go ahead, go through the motion. You can always come back, touch up, and make sure things are perfect later. But as you can see, I'm over here touching it up, make sure I get the curvature right. Take your time, try not to rush, try to make sure this line up, this sideburn as crispy as possible, because once we set this in, we can't change it. We can cut hair off, but we can't put hair back on. So now I'm just be touching the sidebars real quick. Basically, if you don't know what a double lineup is, it's basically another line outlining the original lineup. And as you can see, I'm not really using the full blade of the trimmers. I'm using my corners. If I was to use the full blade, I wouldn't be able to get that curvature and get that real detail. So don't really worry about trying to get the lines perfect. We're going to come back with the razor later on. Here I'm just going to be setting my ball line with the wall magic clips. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go in with my fabulous gold FXs. I'm going to go right underneath where I set in that first ball line. And I'm going to flick up. I'm not going all the way up to the line. It looks like I am, but I'm flicking right before I get to the line, so I'm not setting another guideline. This will take it a little bit lower than what the magic clip can, so when we do bald out, it's going to be easier to take out that line, because it's not really going to be such a harsh line from the balder to our first initial guideline. So as you can see, there's still, that line, and that line is kind of the indicator mark of where we're going to take the balder. The long hairs, we're going to take all that off with the balder. Once we hit the top of the long hairs, we're going to flick out. So we're going to take off all those longer hairs from the magic clip, and once we hit the top of that, we're going to flick out. And that blends right into where we set in the fabulous gold effects. Our second guideline that we are going to make is a wall magic clips, no guard, all the way open. We're going to take this up about a ½ inch, quarter inch to a ½ inch. And don't be scared to take your guidelines up. Now my next guideline, I'm going to go in with the 1 guard all the way closed, and this one I'm going to go about 1/4 of an inch up. I'm not really going up too high. And I'm trying to like flick out a little bit. It's not a crazy flick, but I'm going in, I'm flicking out just a little bit. Next, we're gonna go in with the 1.5 guard. We're gonna go up another 1/4 of an inch. And this, we're gonna flick out and we're gonna try to blend this as much as we can to what we had already set up from the first time with the 1 and the 1.5 in the beginning. As you can see, we did bring it a little bit higher. That's why I said in the beginning not to worry about making it too perfect. We're just kind of setting the foundation. Now I'm opening and closing the lever, playing with it as I go, adjusting it. As you can see, there's still that line, so don't even worry about it. We're gonna come back on the detail, we're gonna fade downwards. Next step, I'm gonna go ahead and hit that clip over comb. As you can see, I'm not really leaving it flush against the head. I'm going up against the head and I'm pulling out. We're trying to keep the shape straight up instead of digging into it. So if we dig in, it's gonna have more of a round shape, and we don't want that. So I'm not really cutting off a bunch of hair at a time. We're just chipping away at the hairs just to make that shape. Now we're going with the 1 with the oyster all the way open. That's about equivalent to a wall 1.5. So we're gonna go up, flick to the line using about half of my blade. Looks like I'm using full blade, but I'm using half of the blade at a time. Now I'm closing up the 1 guard. I'm gonna soften up that line, that middle line. I apologize for the angles. This is my first time recording. I'm still trying out some new angles. Probably about to get me a tripod or something. That way I can get better angles for you guys so you guys can see everything. As you can see, I'm opening and closing as I go, playing with the lever. And towards the back, I like to use majority of my corners. I don't really like to use the full blade. I don't want to take off too much at a time. Now we're going to go into the zero guard with the oyster fast feeds all the way closed. We're going to open up and close it as we go. We're not really bringing the fade up on this. Whenever we're trying to take out a guideline, we're just going to the line. We're kind of chipping at the line. We're not really trying to raise the fade. I don't like to think of it as raising the fade. I kind of like to just think of it as we're going to the line and we're just chipping at it. Not really bringing it up too much. We're trying to leave it there. We're just trying to erase the line. We're not trying to bring it up. Now as you can see, there's still a slight line where we set in our second guideline. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go in with the oyster fast feeds all the way open, and this is gonna take out that slight line that we set in with the second time. Peep how I'm using the corners. I'm not using the full blade on this. I'm just chipping away at it with the corners. And when you do corner cutting, it's kind of slicing through the hair, so you're not really taking off all the bulk. You just it's kind of like using thinning shears. Now we're taking out the bottom line. We go with the wall magic clips because these are zero gaps. So I start off all the way closed, and as we go up, I slowly open it up. So I open it up probably a 1/4, then halfway, and about halfway it should be blended into the top. Now remember, we're not bringing the fade up. We're just tapping at that line. We're just chipping at that line, trying to erase it. We're not trying to bring anything up. If you bring it up, you're gonna have to adjust the whole fade, and all your fades are gonna come out high. We're just chipping at it. Now with this angle, you can see it a little bit better. I'm gonna have it all the way closed. I'm gonna hit the line, then I'm gonna open up a little bit, using my corners. Still using my corners. Chip at it, open up a little bit more. See how I'm closing and I'm opening. If you gotta open and close, open and close. Now, there is still a little bit of weight there, as you can see. So what I'm going with the 0 guard all the way closed with the Auster fast feeds. Hit that with the corners. And we're just gonna take that little bit of bulk out. And we're gonna open it up. We're gonna do some detail work with the 0. So I'm just going in, detailing. I'm gonna go in no guard. Do a little bit more detail work. Now, here we are, we're sitting in the back line. He wanted to V the back with the foxtail, and we're also going to do the double lineup. As you can see, there's a little bit of regrowth back there, and we're going to set the lines in about the same exact place. So I didn't record the other side, my camera ended up dying, but I did have enough time to charge it so I can get the lineup in the video. So we're sitting in the back line, and like I said, we gotta try to set these in as nice as we can, because once we set them in and we try to go with the double lineup, it's set in. You can't really adjust it that much. So as you're setting in the double lineup, be a little bit cautious, but at the same time, don't be scared to cut hair. So you can go in. Just go in, hit it, and don't worry about being too perfect, because we are going to come back with the razor and we're going to clean all that up, make it a lot more crispy and sharp. Now here I'm going to be hitting the line up a little bit. I'm not really whacking it too much. His hair was still kind of short and I don't want to be pushing him back. The more you push people back, the faster it'll grow back. So you push them back, you'll probably see it regrowth by tomorrow. So try to always keep it as natural as possible, unless requested by the client. So now I'm going to go in with my wax pencil, and we're going to take this haircut to the next level. We're going to enhance the cut. So we're going to go along the edges here, apply the wax pencil, and as you're going to see, you're going to watch me, I'm going to be brushing it, and when I brush it, it blends it in. It's going to come out like a regular line, like a kind of a harsh line, and when you're going to brush it in, and that's going to blend it into the rest of the hair. And as you can see, it's doing its job. And don't worry about it being super sharp. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go in with the razor, and that's gonna bring everything together. Now remember, if you're gonna do that on the first initial lineup, the sideburn, you have to do that to the double lineup. Kind of got a bad angle here. But as I do the bottom of the sideburn, you guys will get to see. Now I'm going in with the razor. And remember, when you go with the razor, you want to stretch the skin. You need some tension in there, so that way when it does cut the hair, it's not pulling, it's just going to slice the hair right off. Pay attention how I use the back end and the front side of the blade only, and I'm not using the whole entire blade. This is how you get that nice curvature. If you use the whole blade, everything's going to be flat and boxy, choppy. As you can see, using that razor really does make this pop. So if we're gonna razor one way, then we're gonna razor the opposite way. Razoring this way, you are kind of razoring against the grain. So some people prefer a wet shave. This client, I've been cutting him for years, so he doesn't really mind a dry shave. His skin doesn't get too irritated with it. But make sure you get your consent from your client. Ask them, is their skin sensitive? Make sure you ask them how it feels and make sure they're comfortable. Now that line came out real nice. We're gonna go ahead and apply it to the next side, the other side. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna apply it to the edges. And it is gonna come out like a line like you just drew it with a pencil. But then we're gonna go in, we're gonna fill it in, and we're gonna brush. Fill it in, brush, and it looks good. Now we're just gonna razor it. Remember to stretch the skin. And if you fuck with these beats, man, go hit on my boy Jiggy J. His link will be in the bio. Check him out. The boy be grinding. He got some fire beats. That's my producer. Now, as you got your client lying down, if you see any flyaways, any extra stray hairs that's popping out, go ahead, take the time to clean it up and get it as crispy and sharp as you possibly can. Now we did go with a little bit of eyebrows today. He wanted to clean up his eyebrows. His eyebrows aren't super full, so you gotta really be careful when you're sitting in the top framing. So now we're just framing the top of the eyebrow. We're doing the top panel and the side panel. And as you can see, the top of his eyebrow is real thin. So we're gonna try our best to keep it as natural as possible. We're gonna go underneath it with Fabulous Gold FX's, chip at it with the corner of our blade. We're not using the full blade, we're just using the corner to half of the blade, just to get that shape in there. And after every cut, I like to end it off with some type of aftershave. That is my personal favorite. So this is the cut. Let me know what you think in the comments. Drop a comment 1 through 10, and any other suggestions, any type of haircuts you guys want to see in the future. Alright, man, it's your boy Quality Cuts. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Yes, sir. Chasing the loop,